Hey everybody, this is Nicholas Live, and we have two amazing guests here for a third time with us is Dylan Center and Nick Ravenbash. They're gonna give us quick last-minute updates. Any questions you guys want answered, just come to the live chat right now. The ICO has just begun, and there's 24 hours for the early birds. You guys get an awesome 60% bonus. And for this virtual reality streaming platform, because you guys are awesome viewers, you get an extra 24% bonus using the link that Dylan and Nick set up for me in the description. So all you guys watching, you're lucky to be here. And anybody who wants to ask any questions, there's gonna be 2 questions per person. And the winner will get 500 SIGs. That's around $250. So. Nick, Dylan, you guys want to give any quick intros? Most of you guys know what Spectiv VR already is. It's an amazing virtual reality streaming platform, basically the VR of YouTube plus blockchain rewards. So a lot of things happening. You guys want to give us any quick updates?
Yep. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just give a quick update. You mentioned it, but basically we came here because we've really enjoyed these conversations that we've had with your community here and the questions that everybody has asked us. And so we wanted to give them a chance, literally the day of the launch, to do another Q&A with us and ask any questions that they have, as the ICO moves forward. With that said, you mentioned this, but the pre-ICO has launched officially today to the public. Right now, for the next 24 hours, there's a 60% bonus, at which point it does go down. And for you, Nicholas, I told you this before the call, but we are happy to offer you a 20% bonus that you can give to all of your viewers. And so for anybody viewing this, if you are interested, go to the description below and click on the link to access the pre-ICO there.
I want to quickly interrupt. Sorry for cutting you off, Nick. But you guys, this ICO, this pre-ICO will run for 21 days total. So, but you guys come first and act, pull the trigger really fast. The next 24 hours, we'll get a 60 plus 20, which is an amazing bonus.
Yeah, that's one thing I was about to say. That's why we're really excited to be here with you guys right now. We just launched the pre-ICO. For 24 hours, there will be a 60% bonus opportunity, which is the biggest bonus opportunity you'll get in this December sale. Mm-hmm. Additionally, you'll have an exclusive 20% bonus to add to that 60% bonus.
Boom.
For clicking on the referral link that you get through Nikola. So that's the biggest bonus opportunity that you're going to get for this entire sale period. It's going to end basically in 24 hours. So we wanted to do this to kind of just make everyone aware, all of our early supporters who have been following Nikola and the Spectiv team for now. We just want you guys to know that you've got the opportunity right now. Go out there and get it, and also answer some questions you guys might have leading into the sale.
Yeah, and then thing to mention, you'll see it if you go to our site, but we have already sold about 7,200 Ethereum worth of Signal tokens via the the pre-sale that we did back in August that we've mentioned on this channel a couple times, and a couple private buyers here and there. So we're moving forward. We've already passed our soft cap, and we're really excited to keep going with this. So
this is definitely a go for the project. You guys already raised the minimum, and help the new viewers out. This 7,000 Ethereum, how many million is that?
So at current prices, I think that's about like $3 million.
$3 million already raised before the pre-ICO. So these guys are serious, and they're, hit the ground running. So I'm very excited to have a third time's a charm, guys. It's the third Q&A we had so far. And most of you might have already had your questions answered in the previous Q&As, but you can start posting your questions right now, and we will go ahead and answer any last-minute questions about the platform, about the SIG token, or any interaction, how these work together to make this awesome platform. So quick shout out to Fraud, and quick shout out to It's Me in the live chat. Welcome, guys.
Well, hey, so while we wait for people to ask questions, maybe we should give a quick description of the company for anybody who hasn't seen what we do or hasn't been a part of the past call.
Of course, I've seen lots of new people coming to the Spectiv Slack, and these guys, they also have an official Telegram if you prefer Telegram better. So I'm guessing there's lots of people watching that are new. So before, I already see some questions piling up, but while we wait for more questions to line up together, you guys can start talking about a quick overview.
Yep. So I'll do a quick description of what the company is, right? So we're Spectiv. Spectiv is kind of a two-piece company, right? So we have the Signal Token Protocol that we're working on. The Signal Token Protocol is an open-sourced, decentralized protocol that is working to disintermediate the exchange between advertisers and content creators, viewers, and curators. And what that really means is that we are working to cut out the middleman from the advertising process. That would be Google, Facebook, that type of thing. The reason we are doing this is because these companies currently have a monopoly. Well, Google has a monopoly in the advertising space. And with that, they're able to do things that companies really shouldn't be able to do. For example, charging very high fees, right? So here on YouTube, they charge a 45% cut of the advertising revenue. The creators only get a 55% cut. Beyond that, though, the most important thing is that they have complete control over which channels get monetized, which channels have ads on them, things like that. And there's been a huge issue going on in YouTube lately with YouTube removing ads from people's videos simply based on the fact that their content is not family friendly, right? And we don't think any one platform should have the ability to basically change people's lives in that way. So we're working to set up an ad exchange where advertisers are able to connect directly to advertisers that share the same type of brand values, that basically have the same message that those advertisers have. Whether it's a niche content creator that creates videos like a snowboarding videos, and then there's advertisers that want to advertise towards that audience. We are creating an exchange where advertisers can connect directly to that person via a smart contract, and we're doing this and going to be testing it through the first use case of the Signal Token Protocol, which is what Spectiv VR is. And Spectiv VR is a 360 video streaming platform. It's already live. I think the link might be in the description below. It's spectivvr.tv, and you can go there, you can start watching videos, things like that, and this is where we'll be testing advertisers and content creators. We'll be testing that Signal Token Protocol here to start gathering ad data like cost per click, keyword cost, all of that.
I quickly want to jump in that the spectivvr.tv platform was shown on the last Q&A, and it already has a new look. I mean, that was a matter of weeks. You guys already, like, what was this, version 3.0 of the look? It just, so many changes happening so fast. And I actually tried viewing it on my smartphone, and like it's already working. So I was pleasantly surprised on the next Q&A, last Q&A. I was like personally testing it out for the first time, and I was just like, I think half of the Q&A where you guys are talking, I was just looking at the videos. I was just so amazed. So I wasn't paying too much attention, but I was just having too much fun, guys. Sorry about that. So let me, if Nick, you want to drop in anything before I start with the questions?
Not too much. Just once again, another reminder. I'm excited to have people here. Please, ask your questions. I'm going to be taking note of, our favorite questions, and at the end, as Nicola said, one of you guys is going to win, and just excited to kind of get the ball rolling.
Well, let's get started. I already have Pontus asking the first question. Good job being early, man. What is, in your opinion, the biggest threat to success of Spectiv, and what actions do you plan to take against it?
Oh, the biggest threat of success?
Yes, so like basically your biggest road bump.
Yep. So the biggest threat to success for Spectiv VR would likely be if some huge giant, right, like YouTube decided to create like a really, really, really big focus right now on VR or something like that, then that would kind of detract from like the engagement that we would get. But as far as that goes in general, YouTube's already doing some VR stuff, but they're such a giant. They move so slow, and there's such a mess of so many different things right now that they're never really gonna do like a well-executed, focused kind of VR play. It's kind of like with Twitch, right? Like everything that Twitch does could have been done with YouTube, but YouTube could never really achieve that true gamer community the same way that Twitch did. So for us, the most important thing right now is going to be that we create this platform, we drive users to it. Spectiv becomes the known, dedicated virtual reality platform that builds that grassroots, extremely enthusiastic community. And in doing that, YouTube can do whatever it wants to do, and Spectiv will always be Spectiv in the same way that Twitch is always Twitch. So biggest threat, to put it briefly, is if some tech giant theoretically decides to make a huge VR play exactly like we do, really early on.
But I would see them like they would from what I've seen Google do in the past. Like they would rather buy out uprising company than actually put in the work themselves. So like you guys making a whole community around it might actually, they might even consider like even buying out all the SIG tokens even before focusing and trying to do that on first. So it's kind of like it's a very good answer. I just wanted to add on. Sorry for interrupting, Nick.
No, Nicola, that's actually a really great point. A lot of the big tech giants, they don't want to do all the work themselves, so they let some really agile startup kind of like take care of the legwork and actually build the community, the technology, and then they adopt it and run with it, which could very well be the case for Spectiv. You know, it could be a couple years down the line, but no, absolutely. Great question.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm imagine just like Google coming with a buy order for SIGs. I would laugh. And moving on to Fraud Mace, the question, can you explain in more detail what an ad campaign contract, smart contract is and how it works? So for the actual SIG token.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So just as a note, you can actually go to our site right now. I think there's a link in the header called Token Demo. And so you can go there and start to, so we launched this about a week ago, and you can start to experience a very, it's an MVP, it's a brief understanding of what it will be. So basically on that demo, you'll be able to put in a amount per campaign, like a total budget, right, like 100,000. And then you'll be able to put under that how much you want to reward per action, whether that action is a click, a view, things like that. And then once you submit that, it'll basically create the first rough version of an ad campaign where you'll see a banner ad. And every time you click it, you'll actually on your computer be able to see signal tokens being sent to an address. So you can go test that demo now. Now I'm going to give a more in-depth explanation of what it's going to be, right? So what it's going to be is basically an advertiser will come into a platform. They'll go in and create their ad campaign the same way that they do pretty much everywhere else, doing their targeting by demographics, things like that. And then they'll be able to set their budget. When they set their budget, they'll set it in a fiat-based currency because we don't want to have advertisers understanding how to do crypto right now. But
make it simple as possible. That's good, yeah.
Correct. When they set that fiat budget and they confirm that, it will then convert fiat into signal tokens, which will fund a smart contract, right? And that smart contract will work by having triggered data fed to it, right? Triggered data is anything like we will be recording views on videos, right? Clicks on ads, listens on podcasts, reads on blogs, pretty much any event on a piece of media. And then we will funnel that data to a smart contract so that that smart contract can say, okay, this video got a click on it and send it an amount of signal tokens. This video just got 1,000 views, and then it'll send it signal tokens. That's basically how it works.
Yeah, and to kind of double back on some stuff that Dylan was saying, one thing that we're really, really excited and proud of with Spectiv so far is that we do have a functional token demo.
Yeah.
Right now, you've got a lot of different kind of like ICO projects that either A, don't have a product, or B, have a platform, but not necessarily for the token utility yet.
Yeah.
So we have our alpha live for Spectiv VR, and on top of that, you can find our token demo where you can literally see how when you create an ad campaign smart contract, you inject a certain amount of signal tokens into the smart contract, and then as viewers view ads, you watch token go from your ETH address to the publisher's ETH address. We have that all functioning right now in the token demo. We're really excited about that. We're going to continue to expand on that moving forward in early 2018. So we really encourage you guys to all check it out. Look into signal tokens as much as you can.
And you guys are pretty much the early comers in this platform, so I'm glad I'm among the first who's going to be using that with all you guys watching. And Cody, or actually, let me go to Crypto Kazers asking the question first. What's your strategy to get ad platform use your signal token protocol? So the people to actually big firms who market to come to and use your protocol.
Yeah. So if we were planning to just do this ourselves and reach out to advertisers, right, it would be difficult to get advertisers on initially. We're going to do things to try to facilitate that. So for one, we will be offering basically free advertising on the site in a similar way. So right now, I mean, with Google, even as large as Google is, they offer a $150 ad credit for new advertisers that come to AdWords, right? We'll be doing something like that. It'll probably be more. We'll probably be offering them like a $500 free advertising credit to the site, something like that. Like we don't have the amount determined yet, right? But when we do that, we're hoping that advertisers will be able to use our platform and see that they're having higher, they're having less dollars per conversion rate because we don't take the fees that Google takes and such, and so their conversion rate should be better in terms of the amount of dollars that they spend per. Now, with that said, we're going to do all of that on our end to try to drive advertisers, and we do think we'll have traction doing that. But what will probably be the most important is partnerships in the space to drive advertisers to the platform early, right? So I've had a couple conversations with a very large VR-specific advertising firm called Immersive, and they only do ads for VR companies. And so that's a partnership that we would look to establish after the basically after the protocol has been integrated into the Signal Spectiv VR platform, so that we can start driving literally an immediate advertiser user base. Basically just off a partnership with them.
Yeah, to just add some details on the Immersive thing. So Immersive is basically an agency that connects advertisers who want to run ads on VR content with the VR content. So advertiser says, hey, I've got something I really want to advertise. I'm like a high technology company. I'd like to see it on VR content. They go to Immersive, and then Immersive funnels it to VR platforms. We're in talks with Immersive to where they're going to be immediately porting some advertisements over to our platform. So we'll have some initial engagement through that, which is going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and speaking of the initial engagement, there is a similar question coming from Fraud. He's saying that Spectiv is the market leader in VR and unique cutting-edge tech on top of cutting-edge blockchain, but how will you handle the challenge of early adoption? This time he's talking about the actual users, and how will you guys get eyes on the product? So if you're going to flip the question around to the users and what your plan for the users themselves.
Yeah, so...
And before you answer, I do want to say that a lot of these questions have been covered in more or less detail in the previous Q&A, but and there is already some content creators which are signed up. Do you want to cover that?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about, right? So the first thing that we need to do is drive content creators to the site so that we have content for users to come in. If a user comes to the site and there's nothing for them to do on it, right, they're going to bounce off the site, never make an account. That, right? So biggest thing would be content creators, bringing them in so that when a user comes, they're able to do a lot on the site. And so with that said, basically we've been doing like a grassroots, just reaching out to YouTubers, telling them about our platform, telling them about the Signal token protocol and how it can benefit them. And just from that, we've been able to bring in about 50 content creators to the site. We have about 600 videos on the site right now. So if you go there, you'll be able to watch endless hours of videos pretty much. Now, with that said, we've also done a partnership with Blend Media, and Blend Media is the largest network of 360 content in the world. They're a video they're a video network that manages 500 plus content creators and a little bit over 11,000 videos right now. They grow by about 1,000 videos every month. And so
how much? Sorry, 1,000 a month? They grow?
Videos a month right now. So our goal, though, is that after the ICO, as we move into the beta version of the platform, so about end of Q1 2018, we'll be able to integrate the entire library of Blend Media videos into our site, which at that point, I mean, we'll be one of the largest. I would guess we'd probably be the largest library of 360 videos behind YouTube. There's just not a ton out there doing user video experiences right now. So with that amount of content, we will be a very big contender in the space.
Yeah. Additionally, so when we look at the Signal token protocol, we always talk about it as a decentralized protocol intended for all media platforms. But to put it plainly, like we originally created the concept specifically for Spectiv. Mm-hmm. The concept was that, hey, we're creating this new virtual reality streaming platform. It's an emerging technology on the fringes. What can we do to really drive attention strategically such that we can kind of like go against that, I guess, friction in adoption? And that's where we looked at the blockchain and saw that we could use cryptocurrencies to incentivize the sharing of content and the driving of attention to advertisements, which could help us do better on the Spectiv virtual reality side. So to answer your question, we ended up opening that token protocol up for everyone, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's really going to help us as we, drive advertisers to it and additionally create like the content curator functionality where people get rewarded for sharing content. It's going to incentivize people to share Spectiv VR with the world, which will then help drive adoption further and specifically put eyes on our platform. So I add to everything that Dylan said that the Signal token protocol will get us there, and that's we're a huge proponent of that.
And actually, speaking of the Signal protocol, there's a question about that specifically. YouTube 2008 is asking, for the sake of SIG token holders, what the possible benefits are besides being able to tip creators and curators, any rewards directly to the people holding tokens. I think he's referring to investment like capital gains, which are not per se a legal way to do it, but would you be able to like explain on that?
Yeah, so to touch on that, right, as you just noted, there will definitely not be any rewards to users in terms of like dividends or profit sharing from our company or anything like that. At that point, these tokens are no longer tokens; they actually become securities, right? Because you now have a stake in that company.
And you don't want to touch that. If you have a crypto, you do not want to go close to that.
Yeah, it's illegal to do that type of sale. So staying away from anything related to that. Now, these tokens do have utility, as you just mentioned, in things like community involvement on the site, so like tipping and premium subscriptions to channels, things like that. And those will give you special functions within the site. You'll also be able to buy premium content, live event tickets in the future, all of that. Now, what is really cool about this, and look, that is something that everyone can use. Anybody can have the Signal tokens, use them on our platform for all of those functions. But our Signal tokens also have a very interesting use case for a certain number of people, and that would be on the content creator side. So we mentioned this thing of advertising, and we are decentralizing the advertising space, but we're also using our Signal tokens to kind of bring in a new type of advertising. And I spoke about this a little bit on the last interview with you, is that basically anybody who has anything that they want to make known, whether you wanted to advertise this live interview, you could have started advertising it a couple days ago with the link, and what we're going to allow you to do is anybody who holds Signal tokens will be able to go into basically like an advertising marketplace, and you'll be able to create a campaign for anything in the world, anything that you want to advertise, whether it's your site, whether it's your podcast, or this video. So let's say that you right now had Signal tokens ahead of this video. You went onto our advertising marketplace, you created an account, you'd be able to deposit Signal tokens into your account. When you do that, then you'll go in and you'll create an ad, and that ad will basically tell people, hey, I have this video coming up, this is the genre of what I'm doing, and I'm willing to pay everybody who drives views to it X amount of Signal tokens. Once you do that...
So marketing to the actual influencers.
Correct. So you'll be able to...
That's super unique. I could have never thought of that.
Yeah. So it's not just working with big advertisers. It's also working with anybody who has anything that they want to advertise. And Signal tokens will be the money that is used to do that.
Yeah, and you're saying, I'm sorry, Nick, I keep cutting you off. And you're saying that these tokens can actually be used as a type of a bounty campaigns for anything, like even people who want to run an ICO, right?
I mean, yeah, essentially they could, definitely.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I guess kind of like an anecdotal, like, fun thing to look at it at is like, you know, with how easy it is to kind of create your own, like, storefront with, I mean, Shopify, all these apps that make it possible for people to make a really easy website storefront. It eventually gets to a point where anybody who's got any kind of like product that they want to sell, if they make bracelets at home, as long as they've got a digital presence, they can use Signal tokens to say, hey, I've got something. I think that if I, you know, put it in the public eye, I might be able to make some sales. I want it to be on this video. Yeah. So now they don't have to go through Google, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. They just say, hey, here's Signal tokens, put them in a smart contract. And then they talk to, you know, the content publisher and say, would you like to engage with me? Would you like to let me run my ad on your video or your article or whatever it is? Content creator agrees, and now they're running it, and maybe that person makes sales. So we say all this to say that it's not just about these huge corporate giants who want to advertise, but also just the general person who wants to get eyes on whatever, you know, their project is. Yeah.
And I actually want to compare this to that. It's a very vague comparison. Actually, I have two comparisons. First of all, like all those like Spotify stores or Shopify stores. What do you call those? There is like so many people. Like I heard people just getting rich off of finding a niche product and just being really good with digital advertising, paid, Facebook advertising, and it's a legit thing. For example, at not Dan in the Slack with NLC Slack and the Spectiv, and all these people like him. He's a professional Facebook marketer, and what he does is there's a dog right behind me, right?
We have a dog today. That's my dog Mushu.
Company mascot.
Yeah, company mascot.
That's cool, and people just getting immense returns if they can find a good target group to like just advertise even a product that's not theirs. And these things are just super amazing to people who focus on that. And a good comparison is actually like that some people tried using the Steam It button for promotion, right? That promote button, but it was useless because the way it was set up is nobody actually saw the promoted posts. So if this would actually work contrary to the Steam It promote button, like I would love to use it myself.
Yeah, this is just really being designed for anybody, right? Anybody who is interested in this, and we're going to make this as easy as possible. I think the most important thing that people need to understand is that, personally, I believe that for crypto to reach mass audiences, which with Bitcoin prices going up, I mean, it pretty much already is. Everybody I know is talking about it, but on an alternative currency level, right? Everything other than Bitcoin. We need to give it these tokens functions that people have a use for, but not necessarily require them to have to learn how to use the token in that instance, right? So somebody could come onto the ad platform, they want to do advertising. We want to allow them to be able to convert dollars into tokens very simply. We can't expect people to know how to set up a Coinbase account, buy Bitcoins, and then go buy Signal tokens off an exchange or anything like that, right? So we're going to set everything up for the future of mass adoption for our protocol rather than focusing only on the crypto audience, which I think some projects that are doing stuff like that will be limited in how fast they can grow. So that was kind of off the topic, but it's just a note.
I actually want to do another off-topic sentence that actually like Bitcoin's already over $21,000 in Korea, like. Amazing. Like right now it's around 15,000 in America and like the western part, but Korea, these guys are loving it.
It's really crazy.
Going to the more abstract questions, Pontus wants to know if you have one Spectiv related wish magically granted to you right now, what would it be and why?
All right, I'm assuming me and Nick are probably gonna have different wishes here, just for the sake of it. If I had one wish right now, so I'm a huge basketball fan. I played basketball growing up my entire life. I still play as much as I possibly can, not as much lately with Spectiv, but love basketball. And if I had one wish, it would probably be to be the official live streaming partner of the NBA so that we could live stream all the NBA games. And the thing is that is my wish, but it's also something that is not that far off. The NBA has done a deal with NextVR, which does live event streaming, and they've also done a deal with another company. I want to say it's like IBM, a very large company for virtual reality applications as well. So all these sporting companies are already looking into virtual reality. They're looking into live streaming events, things like that. We're going to start off smaller. We will we'll be reaching out, trying to do deals with to prove the live streaming function. So, for example, I was talking to this past weekend a former Russian hockey league player, which the Russian hockey league is the second largest hockey league in the world. It's the KHL, and that hockey league is expanding teams into Asia. Well, he's going to become the general manager of one of these teams in Asia, or roughly he'll be the general manager. There's a lot of politics there, but he'll come in, and he's talking about Spectiv possibly being the live event streamer of all of their games that season, which it would be a small niche audience for us, but it'll allow us to perfect the live streaming abilities on SpectivVR. So that's kind of my wish. I really want to get this into sports. That was my initial vision with this from back when I pitched this idea in 2015. And if we could do that, I would really, really feel like we've achieved something. Goldman Sachs bank here in the U.S., Goldman Sachs, they've analyzed the virtual reality industry, and they think that the live event streaming is going to be the second largest category of VR outside of gaming. So that's where I want to go. I don't know what Nick's biggest wish is, but
yeah, if I could have anything in the world right now, it would be to just accelerate the tech development for like live streaming VR cameras. So 360 camera that has live streaming functionality, make it affordable for everyone.
I would get one ASAP. I'm all about live streams.
Yeah, it would be sick because what happens is when that happens and you have a world of people who have 360 cameras that they can live stream with. When people are running around and they've got their cameras, you know, in their hands, on their heads, on their cars, whatever it is, and they're just living life while live streaming it in 360, what that means is that when somebody's doing that in Japan or in Italy or whatever it is, and I'm here in America, I can tune in to something that's happening in real life at that moment in real time in virtual reality. And if you think about that, like just kind of bear with me here, that's almost kind of like teleporting. You know what I mean? Because it's literally a thing that's happening right there, right then. If there's some crazy, you know, geopolitical event going on, you know, in the Middle East and somebody's live streaming it there, I can tune in and be there and look all around me and see everything that's happening. So we're eventually going to get there. That's going to be a reality which we all live. We're not there yet, but if I could have one wish, it would be that that's happening now. Yeah, that we could support that in Spectiv.
Does that mean I have to get like a 360 green screen?
You would.
You can do some cool stuff with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just got this one. Like, now I have to think for a future and start thinking about a new green screen. Okay, well, switching topics. Ovise is asking for that 20% extra bonus on the 60% that's already there for 24 hours. Is there a minimum purchase?
What was that?
Like for a 20 plus 60 special bonus right now, is there a minimum purchase?
Nicola?
You guys hear me?
Yeah,
I hear you now.
We missed the question.
Oh yeah, basically the 20% bonus plus 60, is it minimum purchase amount?
So no. So there's no minimum purchase amount right now. Starting because this is technically our pre-sale. Starting tomorrow, actually, we are implementing a minimum purchase amount of 1 ETH. But with that said, yeah. So right now there's a 60% bonus. Anybody who contributes any amount from the link in the description below will get the extra 20% bonus. Beyond that, yeah, there are additional bonuses that you can get if you contribute more. So anybody who contributes 20 Ethereum or more can get additional bonus. But other than that, yeah, anybody can contribute any amount. And one thing I just wanted to touch on is, you know, we've provided Nicholas here a special deal because we've really enjoyed the Q&As that we've done on the channel and we love the community here. But when you do go to our site and you go into the platform and you log in and create an account, everybody will be able to find that we have, as of last night, we've spent the entire night working, we've implemented a referral system into it so that anybody will be able to generate a link and start driving people to the ICO, and you'll be able to get a bonus on tokens that other people contribute to the ICO, and they'll get a special bonus from the referral that you give them. Now, we're not offering everybody a 20% bonus, obviously, but you will be able to use the referral system and benefit everybody that way. So just wanted to mention that we have that system integrated into the pre-ICO.
So if you have friends who like VR, you can make your own link to refer them and help yourself, you know, at the same time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. And just to kind of add to some notes that Dylan made, so right now, guys, if you would like to participate in the Spectiv pre-ICO for less than 1 ETH, today is your only opportunity to do it.
Right.
We've had this early access pass open for a little bit now. For all of our really early supporters, people who really care, people who are hanging out at the floodgates who have been waiting for this day to come, we've set it up where on this day, you can get a 60% bonus. If you're watching this video, you get an 80% bonus because of the exclusive link that Nicola has.
Yep.
And you kind of are going to want to make your transaction happen as soon as possible because after the end of this 24-hour period, you will not be able to contribute unless you are doing at least an ETH. So just as a quick,
and the bonus will go down tomorrow as well. It's not gonna. Today is the last day of the 60% bonus.
So really, it's basically just a quick.
That's super nice of you guys. Yeah, a lot of like ICOs have like a big, you know, minimum, and you guys will have a minimum of 1 Ether down the line. But right now, like, you know, if you have less than 1 Ether, you want to do it right now, ASAP.
Right? My thing on it is, it honestly, as from an ICO's perspective, it's a big headache having a ton of people in the ICO for tiny amounts because from a customer support side, like we have to help all of those people out. But with that said, the entire point of this ICO, outside of being able to bring in money to start up a company, is to build a community of people who are engaged with our idea, people who are engaged and want to use the Spectiv VR platform. And if an ICO is going to come in and set a limit so that the majority of people actually contribute less than 1 ETH, if an ICO wants to set up a limit so that they cut out 70% of the people that are going to buy in, all they're doing is destroying the community that they could have had. So we wanted to offer a time frame where anybody can buy in, allow everybody to be a part of Spectiv and to support the idea, the project, and then we'll implement a minimum bonus as we move forward. Not a minimum bonus, but a minimum contribution amount as we move forward. But for now, we really just want to build and grow the community as much as we can.
Yeah. I had another note that I want to talk about. Oh yeah, so regarding the referral system that we were talking about. So as you guys are going to know, you are getting a link that we've custom created specifically for Nikola that gives you a 20% bonus. But when you log into your pre-sale portal, you'll also notice that you have a referral program that you can participate in. This gives you your own unique link that you can share with your friends. They'll get a 10% bonus if they use it, and you will get 10% minted tokens on whatever they buy. So if they buy 100 signal tokens through your link, you will get 10 signal tokens for helping drive that attention and bringing people towards the crowd. So as Nikola was saying, help your friends out. Make them aware of Spectiv. If they like virtual reality, if they like the concept of decentralized advertising by any chance, share it with them, help them through the buying process, and in doing so, you'll earn some SIGs as well.
That's just, I don't know, it blows my mind. Moving on to some more fun questions. I can't wait to ask this one. Zarjay wants to know, are you guys worried at all about being built on Ethereum and with its current issues exposed by the kitties clogging up the network?
Yeah, you may have seen some of our tweets from a couple nights ago. So as we kind of touched on here, we did a pre-sale for email subscribers only. It was exclusive to that audience, and that was supposed to launch about 3 days ago, December 5th at 12 a.m. here in Central Time. And at that exact time was literally when the Ethereum was basically just completely broken. Thank you, the cats. But we put a couple tweets out about it. It ended up, personally from our side, we had to delay basically our launch by about 24 hours. We've had a number of buyers having issues with being able to send transactions and such. Look, Ethereum does have issues going on right now in the network. Now, a couple notes I want to make on that is that as a company, we're taking steps to do what we can to not clog up the Ethereum network. And so we'll be doing things like pooling together transactions, and instead of running microtransactions all the time, doing them in a time frame. So collect transactions from the past hour and then push that, and transact from an hour and push that, which will help the Ethereum network. Beyond that, so our developer, I literally just tweeted this last night, but our developer, Bryn Bellamy, he's the one who actually developed the smart contract. He developed Signal tokens. He's our Solidity developer. He became Consensus certified about a month ago, going through the Consensus development program, and he's actually recently taken on work and started working with Consensus. So from that, we know that Consensus is very aware of the network issues. They're very aware that the network is vulnerable to being congested like this, and they're working forward to try to help figure out a solution for this. I personally think that Ethereum will come up with a solution that expands the network and allows everybody, all these dApps that are being created, to run transactions and not have issues with it. But it is definitely a topic right now, and it's going to be a topic moving forward.
And I mean, it's good for something like this to happen early in the blockchain life so people are aware of the possibilities. And I mean, right now, blockchain and all the cryptos are still relatively small compared to their future potential. So it's a good wake-up call for everybody, but I'm not worried about it at all.
We were joking in the office because, again, so that night of launch, they got delayed. If there was anything that was gonna kind of put a damper on what we're doing, we're very happy that it was crypto kitties. It's something that we can look at and laugh about and be like, all right, there's nothing we can about this. We lost to some virtual cats. I mean, I think it's great that something fun like this is what is hurting the Ethereum network, because it doesn't really make Ethereum look bad, right? It's just kind of a fun joke, and people are like, wow, like how does that happen? But what it does is it makes like a group like Consensus become aggressively aware that they need to make steps, that they need to take action and go forward and trying to fix this problem. So it's funny. All you can really do is laugh at it and enjoy the fun. Crypto, I got into crypto back in 2013, and in 2013, everybody was just in it having fun. That's when Dogecoin launched, and people were loving the idea of Doge. There was a coin called Kitty Coin that people were playing around with. And I'm happy to see that fun atmosphere brought back into the Ethereum, because right now it is just a lot of companies, being started up, and crypto at its core, it's a fun idea, right? And it's a community-based idea, so.
Exactly. And you guys are keeping the community alive, which is awesome. Moving on to Abdulquari, if I'm saying correctly. He says, Spectiv VR blends two giant new technologies, as you know, blockchain and VR. What is Spectiv's plan to scale development of the VR and the token platform?
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to talk about this first from a business perspective, right? So on our side, through talks with advisors, through talks with our consulting group, Sutton Stone, we've identified that this company has to be run from basically an old business mentality of, and I say old business mentality, old as in like 6 months ago, where when you do bring in outside investment in a traditional company, and you bring in like a VC, you now have the public product that you're making usually, and then you have stockholders who you have to do work to increase the value for them. In these token companies, we are working in the same ideology of, look, we have the Spectiv VR platform that we are going to work to start up as a business. But then on this side, we have the token protocol that we will be working to continually develop and improve. So every action we make, our first priority is to improve the Signal token protocol and build something for that going forward, because this is the core of what we're doing, right? And then we will be working to improve Spectiv VR, because improving this platform, Spectiv VR, improves the Signal token protocol, because it allows us to really, really test and create the best advertising platform here. Now that's just like I was explaining that as our mindset. That doesn't touch on how we're actually going to do that. The way that we're actually going to do that is it's a matter of hiring the right people to handle each project, and then from a management perspective, probably distributing maybe myself to manage one side of the network and Nick to manage another side of the network. But in terms of the developer side, right, so we have a core development team here of Chris Pena, Justin Wood, and then Jin. And they right now are the main core development team for Spectiv and the Spectiv virtual reality platform. But then we have our Ethereum development team, which would be Bryn Bellamy, who I mentioned, is building the token contract. And then we're working with a development firm with a good friend of ours, Parker and Adam, who are developing the Signal token protocol. So it's really a matter of distribution of processes and tasks, and having individual teams working to develop each side.
Yeah, to kind of add to that, so our friend Parker, he has been phenomenal. Like, as a Solidity developer, this guy is tier 1 and can be doing really anything he wants. We met him at the Texas Bitcoin conference and have since been doing a lot of work together. We were recently together in Silicon Valley at the Blockchain Expo, where we hung out a ton, and he's been working really hard. He's the one who made our Signal token demo. So the actual functional Signal token protocol is built by Parker and Adam of Decent Technologies. And the reason why, to answer your question, it's a really great question, right? We've got two major technologies. How do we plan to scale and do both at the same time successfully? Mm-hmm. When you talk to Parker or Adam about what they're building for us, the entire actual Signal token protocol, it's their life. Like, it's all they think about is making token protocol work and scalable for the future. Then when you talk to Chris here, our CTO, about Spectiv VR, that's his life. That's his entire focus. His everything is, how do we make this thing work and more engaging, etc. So when you've got teams that actually really care about what they're doing on both sides, at the end of the day, those teams in and of themselves, even if they weren't like connected through Spectiv, if he was to build this and he was to build that, they would both do a great job and be a successful project. It just comes down to, how do we come in to connect the two and make sure that they're both kind of moving in the direction that they're supposed to, and that, Token's doing what it's supposed to, Spectiv VR is doing what it's supposed to. So we make it happen. And one last thing I kind of want to touch on is just a symbiotic relationship between the two. So if Signal Token Protocol is to be successful, it has to be operating on some media platform. That's the main thing that separates us from AdX and Basic Attention Token and whatever other advertising token there is out there, is that we've got the media platform that has adopted it, that we're going to be able to use. Users will be able to have wallets they interact with, publishers, advertisers will come in. We actually have the starting ground. So Spectiv VR in many ways, as we develop that out and make it more robust and attract users to it, that helps the Signal Token Protocol. Additionally, the better that we build out the Signal.
Hey, Nick, Dylan? Yeah, it's cut off. Hey,
did you lose?
Yeah, just repeat the better and we kind of cut off.
Okay. Yeah, so the better that we develop out the Signal Token Protocol, which is an incentive-driven attention driver, then the more we'll be able to drive users to Spectiv VR. Right. So they both work hand in hand with each other to make each other more successful. So it's really exciting that we kind of get to work on both, and we've got great teams for both sides. So great question, but we're working on it.
The mascot agrees too.
The mascot, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and moving on to questions, I was just so amazed by the answer itself. I kind of lost track. Let me just go back to the last question. Quick shout out to Crypto Kaiser, who won 15 SIGs from a random giveaway in the live chat from They Call Me Dan. Dan, you're awesome. Thanks for being in the live chat. And yeah, guys, definitely do smash the like button, smash the comments after this live stream, and do subscribe for more awesome things happening. All of you guys mentioning this in live chat, yeah, that's definitely so true. Make other people aware of this awesome project. And next question is from Andy L. When do you think VR and Spectiv in particular will become mainstream in everyday use? Now, you already touched on this with the Goldman Sachs prediction for the live streaming of events. Do you want to touch on the VR itself?
Yeah, so, all right, so experts are projecting VR to really be ramped up in about 5 years. And I mean, that's at a level where the VR industry is a multiple, like, tens of billions of dollars a year.
Like that's the size of YouTube, basically. Okay, so in 5 years approximately.
Yeah, right, and so that does mean, though, that VR is going to be rapidly growing over these coming years. Personally, I think VR is already starting to have a level of mass adoption that it's never seen before, and is only going to continue rapidly growing. Literally, I just read last night, an article was published from Sony has released their numbers of what they've done, and it said that so they've sold about 70 million PlayStation 4s across the world so far, but they've also sold 2 million PSVR headsets, which really has just been released about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, not even 2 years really. That is a huge number for to add on $400 to a gaming console that already costs $400. 2 million headsets is a very large number, and that means that there's an additional 2 million people out there enjoying VR. So
that's like 3% of their current sales just increased over a span of a year, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
So my thing is, when you bring VR to things that people are, and make it extremely easy to use, like if somebody has a PlayStation 4, all they have to do is plug in the VR headset and they can start enjoying VR. That is when mass adoption starts, and that's why I'm saying I think it's starting now, because that's happening. The biggest problem with like the Rift and the Vive has always been the price and the barrier to entry. Barrier to entry being technical know-how, basically, right? One, you do have to have, you do have to have a very good PC. You have to have generally a high-end gaming computer, and if you don't, you're not able to necessarily run these headsets at full capacity, right? So that is a barrier. But then previously, the pricing for these, right? The Rift used to cost like $800. The Vive was nearly $1,000. The Vive is down to $500. The Rift is down to $350 when it's on sale. This brings both of those headsets into the pricing level that consumers are already used to paying. When you go pay $400, $500 for a gaming console, now you're looking at a headset in the same price range, which makes it an acceptable price. And then beyond that, the mobile headset industry is growing rapidly. By far, mobile headsets are the most sold type of headset, which is why we have put a big focus on the mobile side of our platform, which you experienced last time you were using it, and we'll continue doing that going forward to help drive initial users into the platform. But personally, I think that VR is already starting to grow. It's making huge moves with all the new technologies coming out. There's a ton of new headsets coming out, wireless headsets. Oculus is making a headset called the Oculus Go that only costs $200. All of that moving forward is going to just really drive rapid adoption, and you're going to see a similar thing. This past year, crypto has exploded. I mean, it's gone from this pool of people knowing about crypto to all of your neighbors are talking about this Bitcoin thing that they just heard about.
And the grandma and the kids, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with Dylan in the analogy of comparing cryptocurrencies to virtual reality, especially in that, like, look, the banks are, in their research analysis reports, are reporting VR massive adoption 5 years from now. It's our job and everyone else that's in this virtual reality space to say, no, 1 year. Right? So we have to just build such a cool service, such a cool platform, such great technology, such that we actually blow the expectations out of the water, like has happened with cryptocurrency. So 5 years is probably what we would call the conservative expectation, but expect things to happen well within 5 years, and that's kind of our job to really drive that.
Yeah.
And the big guys are known for having very conservative expectations, so that's a very good point, Nick. I like it. Pontus is asking another question. He visions a future where traditional movies as we know them today will not last and will be available in VR, or at least in part. Any plans to cater to the movie or that type of market?
Yeah, so that's something that we've had internal talks about. I think that is something that is a little bit farther off, right? It's going to take time for big movie companies to be able to start filming entire movie productions at high quality levels with 360 cameras.
I want to quickly jump in. I mean, you guys don't even know the price of one 4K movie like quality camera. It's in tens of thousands. And just imagine multiplying that in 360. Like, it's still like a very expensive piece of equipment just for the people, even the Hollywood people, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, with that said, I can tell you that Hollywood is huge on VR. Hollywood really, really is excited about VR moving forward, and they are thinking about the exact same things that you're thinking about. I've been talking to two guys, really, a couple of guys that are, their background is in the Hollywood space. One of them is an Emmy Award, two-time Emmy Award winner, and they, outside of what they do in the Hollywood space, they are also the founders of the VR AR Foundation, which you can go find, and we are working to become a part of that as well. So Hollywood is very much looking at VR. I want to mention areas where I think it may be applicable and start seeing it go forward. There was a movie that came out, I want to say 2-3 years ago, called, I think it's called Hardcore Henry. Somebody can go look it up and maybe post it in the chat to correct me, but it's called Hardcore Henry, and it was one of the first major motion pictures that was released from a first-person perspective. The entire movie is filmed from the perspective of the main actor. So instead of looking at the movie, you're looking at it through the eyes of the main actor. That's where I could see 360 being immediately adopted. I think they would be very dumb not to film Hardcore Henry 2.
Yeah, it's Hardcore Henry. I'm sorry, Hardcore Henry 2015. Just found it.
Yep. So to be able to watch an entire movie from the perspective of the main character, but not just you're not watching the movie. You can look around as if you are the character in the movie. I think that would be a really crazy perspective and a new way of watching film. And I think that we'll start seeing some people doing test projects like that going forward. But to answer your question, Hollywood's definitely going to adopt it. They're very interested in it already. We would love to be a part of it if we can. And so that's pretty much it.
Okay. Zarji is asking a very controversial question. So your platform, will you be censoring the content, or do you plan to take a more libertarian approach and not censor anything?
Okay. We are going to do our best to not censor content strictly. And I have to say, though, that we have to censor content to an extent, right? We can't have pornography on our site. We can't have videos of somebody murdering people on our site, right? We have to censor content to that extent. But with that said, we're not going to be censoring advertising content, which is the biggest core issue in this industry right now. And I touched on this earlier in an answer, but YouTube is censoring advertising like crazy right now. It's called the adpocalypse. So many channels that 2 years ago they were making a living on YouTube. This is how they were feeding their families. YouTube is now, every time I was just talking to a guy yesterday, every time he posts a video, YouTube demonetizes it, and then he has to manually apply to have it monetized again, and it takes about 24 hours. The problem is, the majority of views on videos happen in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, in the first 24, damn.
If you're losing advertising on your entire first 24 hours, you've just lost probably 90% of the money you would have made on that video. It's a huge problem. We are going to do everything that we can to have no interference in that relationship. We will not be able to say, look, that advertiser wanted his ad on that video. Nope, we're not going to do that. Like, there's no chance that we're going to come in and interfere on that process. But on the video side, yeah, we will have to have some censorship on what videos can be on our platform.
Yeah, so basically to I guess, expand on that, I might have missed it, but like, Spectiv VR, on our side, privately as a business, like, we will do censorship on what videos we allow. Right. There's not going to be, you know, I guess, like, really lewd, explicit, bad content. We're not going to, like, you know. But on the signal token side, you know, in the spirit of decentralization, it's all going to be permissionless. All that matters is it consensual between the advertiser and the publisher? If both of them agree to it, it happens. That we will not have any role in.
Okay, so that's very good how the interaction is direct. I like that. And Fraudmeister really likes this Q&A and the previous ones. He's asking, how can we as a community help you in your mission? And I want to jump in quickly that, you know, the smallest thing you can do right now actually is, you know, just give it a like, right, or share the video, or you can do it as much as create a referral link right now and, you know, share with your friends and help them and help yourself. But do you have any bigger picture goals down the line, you know, maybe a month from now or a week from now?
As far as the community, so the biggest thing really for you guys to do, seriously, we developed this referral program not with the goal in mind of like, okay, how can we just drive a lot more token sales or whatever. It was with the goal in mind of like, we've had a really great bounty program. If you'll go to our Bitcoin talk, like, people who've been putting efforts into our bounty, it's been phenomenal from day one since, like, I mean, it's been months now that people have been helping us out with, you know, Twitter shares and Facebook and just spreading awareness about the project. And that's been really, really great. So for those bounty participants, you know, a lot of them aren't really in a situation where they can contribute to the Spectiv project. They can't necessarily buy token. Maybe they're just not in the best financial situation themselves, etc. So we figured, hey, what if we could give them a way to kind of like earn signal tokens, you know, in our crowd sale process. So we made this referral program. If you go make an account on the Spectiv portal, you don't have to buy signal tokens. Make the account, you'll have your own unique link, share it with a bunch of people, drive some sales, get some people to actually, you know, just really raise awareness for the Spectiv project. And as people buy signal tokens, you'll earn some too. But the most important thing is, if you're asking how you help us, it's really go and share the project and use your unique link so people can get that extra bonus. You're helping them out. And then also, you know, we're excited to kind of reward you with signal tokens for helping us out. So long story short, go take advantage of the referral program.
And I really want to, I'm sorry, Dylan, you were saying?
Say one more quick thing is that we do have SpectivVR.tv live, the video streaming platform. We would really, really love people to go to that site, start testing it, do things like trying to upload videos, watching videos, creating accounts, and email us any bugs that you find. We have a bug bounty program, just so you know. You can earn tokens for finding bugs on the site. This alpha is not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It's the first stage of the development of this project. We want to do everything that we can to fix as much as we can in it for the release of the beta. So if you could do that, start testing it, that would be awesome.
That's a beautiful answer. I'm always going to compare this to actual what happened to Bitcoin and the whole cryptocurrency in economy in general after Thanksgiving, because it was a time in the United States where all the families get together and talk at dinner tables, and you just see this extreme explosion days after Thanksgiving, because that's when people get together and talk. So if you guys want to help VR, blast its expectations and be adopted within a year, not 5 years. I mean, who wants to wait 5 years? We can make this happen this year or next year. I mean, sorry, 2018. So it's up to you guys to spread awareness and make this happen, because if the demand's out there, there will be a supply of content. There will be a supply of people providing you guys anything you guys want to see if people want to have it.
Yep, absolutely.
And moving on to Impossible, that's next question is asking, do you have a plan for helping and guiding small individual creators of VR content?
Do we have a plan for helping small content creators?
Yes, kind of like helping them or guiding them. I'm actually not sure what this question is implying, so if you know what it's, we can try to answer it. If not, we can move on.
I'll answer it to an extent. So in the work that we're doing with content creators, right, we are willing to help small content creators in a couple stages right now. One, we're willing to help them earn money. So we are willing to pay for initial videos rather than them having to try to build up their channel, gain a following, and make advertising revenue that way. We are willing to give them some money now for their videos and the content that they produce, as long as we as long as they're able to produce it, right? The second thing is, I mean, I would just recommend them to really go out there and start looking at the market, because it's actually very accessible to start producing 360 content right now. The price of 360 cameras is very affordable. You can find them as cheap as like $200 for a decent 360 camera. And then the software to make your videos into 360, the stitching software that pieces it all together, it's all available, and there's a ton out there right now. So I would just recommend any small creators to start looking into it more, and I think you'll realize that it's actually much more accessible than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, but actually, I mean, it's a good question, because as you asked it and as Dylan just kind of answered, I just thought of something which is something we could probably do on our end is make like a really short and sweet like instructional on like, hey, here's a place where you can go and buy a 360 camera, really affordable. Here's the software you can download to do some stitching, and 3, here's how you upload on Spectiv. So great question. We could, we think it's simple, we think it's really accessible, but you know what? We could do a little bit more. So we may incorporate some things to just make it really streamlined for someone who doesn't own a 360 camera. Just here's how you do it. Here's how you get started. Here's how you get it in the mail, and just get things rolling. So,
and then Dan, I want to say we have time for about 2 more questions.
Nicola?
Okay.
Dan, Nicola, yeah.
That is beautiful. Like you guys in the live chat are directly influencing the future of Spectiv with your amazing suggestions and questions. So that's pretty cool. And good job to Fraud for winning a jackpot of 56 in the live chat from Dan and running random giveaways. Good job. Well, I'm sorry, I just can't pronounce this username, but the website states Spectiv has 1 million plus subscribers. Have they adopted a SIG token too? If not, what is the plan to convert them?
So that statement there is not that Spectiv has 1 million plus subscribers. It's in our content creator section, so it's in the partnerships that we've landed. And if you read in there, it's that we have over 50 content creators on the site who have produced over the X amount of videos. The subscribers is related to how many subscribers those content creators currently have, right? And that number is across, so that's for those content creators across all the platforms that they create content on. They have collectively, I think as now, over like 4 million subscribers. And that's what those numbers are relating to.
Oh, that's potential of the current content creators. Okay, that's pretty cool. And let's see if, I mean, I'm trying to find a question if you guys haven't answered. It's like you guys are answering most of the questions ahead of time. So if I did skip any of your guys' questions, it was because most of it was already answered. Now, to clarify, will there be direct fiat to Spectiv marketplace? Will you guys be buying an equivalent amount of the exchanges? Drew is not really understanding how this is going to work.
I didn't.
basically he's asking, is there going to be any way to make it easy for people, the advertiser, to obtain SIGs? Basically, they have to get them off the exchanges, right?
Got you. So yeah, so no, so the way that's going to work is, so as I was mentioning earlier, we want advertisers to be able to contribute with fiat, so that it's not a complicated process for them. So the way this system will work is that an advertiser will come in, pay with $1. That dollar will be converted to signal tokens. Now, I think he's asking, where did those signal tokens come from? Where those signal tokens come from is, if you read into our white paper a little bit, 60% of tokens are being sold in the token sale. 20% are reserved for the Spectiv reserve, and that Spectiv reserve is what is going to continually have a life cycle like this. So basically, advertisers will be coming in with $1. When they pay that $1, signal tokens from the Spectiv site reserve are going to fund a smart contract. Eventually, those signal tokens get released to a content creator who, if he wants, can cash out those signal tokens for $1, at which point those signal tokens come back to the reserve. So the reserve has a life cycle where tokens are constantly going in and out and in and out and in and out, as well as it does collect additional tokens on a transactional fee style, like all other tokens, right? So this reserve is constantly being recycled around the environment so that it's able to fund smart contracts from advertiser dollars. So Spectiv as a company earns revenue through dollars being sent to us from advertisers, and that's where we put signal tokens into a smart contract from the site reserve.
Okay. That sums up like any possible question I could have even thought of, and like this is just so many questions. And even Dan said that in the live chat, you know, he and I pride ourselves on knowing so much about this platform, more than 99% of people, and even him and I are pleasantly surprised each time with all these cool answers and new information, and just digging deeper and deeper. And guys, good job with all this like instant, on the spot, live answers. I love it.
Oh yeah, awesome. And I gotta say, I can't speak for Dylan, but of all the interviews we've done, I'm looking at the list of questions right now, and I can tell it's going to be very difficult. This is a competitive list. These have been great questions.
Really great questions. Yeah. Give us 1 minute. We're going to talk about which question was our favorite, and then excited to reward some signal tokens. So.
Okay, while you guys do that, I'm going to actually reward from the previous video. Let me just see. So I love, you know, you guys being actively engaged with the videos, and especially these live streams, which I love. I love live streaming, as you can see by my Nicholas.live name. So the previous video, I said, you know, I'll give 200 NLC to somebody who, one person who likes, comments, and subscribes. So let me just pick a random person from the last video, and that, let's say, Michael Crypto, you want 200 NLC. I'll go ahead and send it to your address. Good job. And I'm going to do the same thing for this video. You guys are awesome, and I really love you guys engaging. Don't be passive bystanders. Once this actual live stream is over, you guys can comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll just pick a random person on next live stream and say who wins the, let's say, additional, let's make it 200 SIGs. Why not? Up the amount. That's almost like $100. So just because I really like this live stream, and I really want to promote you guys showing some love for this amazing project. But ultimately, if you do want to promote the project itself and you do believe in it, those referral links are really, really cool, and I like the idea they have behind them.
All right, we're back. Can you hear us?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, so we have we're actually going to reward 2 questions.
Nice.
Both are going to get full credit. The reason that we're doing this is because, as we've mentioned, we enjoyed these questions a lot. We thought these were some of the best questions that we've ever gotten, and we're really, you know, we had a lot of fun talking about it. So the first one I want to mention, I think, not 100% sure of his name, but it was like Abdul Kiari or something.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll find it.
Yep, his question was asking about how Spectiv is working to blend 2 giant technologies, and how are we working to scale both? The reason we chose this question is because it is a very good question. We actually haven't been asked it before, I don't think. And it means that he's put a lot of thought into the business behind what we're doing and analyzing, well, it might be a challenge to grow 2 styles of companies, right? One being a token protocol, one being business. So it shows that he put a lot of thought into that question. The second question we want to reward, I don't remember who the user was at all, but it was a very fun question. We definitely never have been asked
the
before.
kitties?
Not rewarding CryptoKitties. No, it was a user who asked about the wishes. What are our wishes going forward?
Yeah, that was Ellie. Cats, cats, not cats. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't. Sorry, wrong name. Let me see. Okay, yeah, that was Pontus Lovehav. If you could have one Spectiv-related wish magically granted right now, what would it be and why? Pontus, do please make sure you get me your Ethereum address in the live chat, or you can send me a private message on YouTube. Yeah, good job with the question.
Guys, and real quick, so once again, we come in only planning to do the one winner, but right now is kind of a celebration because we just launched the pre-ICO. We thought your questions were really great. We want to just double down. You know, we thought it was fun. So yeah, the two of you guys are both winning full prize. We'll talk to Nicola after about kind of
getting the addresses and such.
Yeah, so awesome questions, guys. This has been really, really fun. Glad to be talking about.
That's it. It's a beautiful time to end it. Thanks for coming, and do use the link in the description for the 20 plus 60 because these guys rock.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.